I'm Brendan McCormack, and welcome to the Perth Fitfam Podcast, where you get to hear from the best thought leaders and change makers from across the Perth fitness scene. In episode 30 of the Perth Fitfam Podcast, we catch up with Perth Marathon champion running Rochelle Rodgers. She's straight off the back of her win last weekend at the Bridges Fun Run, which was in Perth City, and also off the back of an outstanding performance and win earlier in the year at the Tokyo Marathon, obviously in Japan. We chat about Rochelle's wins both over the weekend and in Japan, how she trains and programs for marathon running, nutrition and preparing for a run, so obviously we talk about pizza, and how to train for the HBF Run. So any of those of you out there that are looking at doing the HBF Run, hopefully get some good insights out of this, or also anyone who's just after better mental performance. Today's podcast is sponsored by Fit College Western Australia. Become fitness career fit with the leaders in fitness education and training here in Perth, Fit College. Study on campus at one of their 3 locations across Perth, 15 in Australia, as well as via the flexibility of the managed online course. Become a personal trainer and turn that passion for fitness into an amazing career opportunity. Mention Perth Fitfam to save over $1,500 off your courses and receive free professional fitness insurance with your enrolment. All you got to do is head to fitcollege.edu.au/Perth Fitfam and download the course info pack for everything you need to know. Today's podcast is also brought to you by Healthy Power Meals. Healthy Power Meals is owned by professional athlete and mum of 3, Vesna Spasevsky. Vesna has designed a range of fresh, that means 100% non-frozen meals, using local organic produce from their farm located in Wanneroo, wherever possible. Healthy Power Meals are suitable for everybody. That means women, men, children, athletes, and families. They're nutritious and convenient, not to mention delicious. I eat them myself. Grab-and-go meals which can be tailored and customized to your needs and goals. To take the hassle out of your meal prep, head to healthypowermeals.com.au and enter the code PERFITFAM10 for your exclusive 10% PerfitFam discount. And last but not least, the Perth Fitfam Podcast is brought to you by True Protein. True is unafraid to cut through the noise of an oversaturated market and break the mold to deliver authentic, all-natural products with genuine health benefits and none of the fake stuff. True Protein bucked the trend for expensive, overhyped, bad-tasting supplements and protein powders packed with false promises to reinvent the marketplace and create 100% natural, delicious quality supplements with no gimmicks, nothing artificial, and a completely transparent ingredient list. To shop for True Protein, head to trueprotein.com.au and use the code PERFITFAM10 for an exclusive Perth Fitfam discount. True Protein can also be purchased from a local retailer right here in Perth. So if you'd like to find the closest retailer to you, feel free to send us a message and we'll point you in the right direction. That's all from our sponsors. We hope you enjoy the podcast.
The coffee now too.
Yeah, I was like, I hope they're going to let us film, number one. And then number 2, I'm just going to buy something, whether I eat it or not, just so I didn't feel guilty.
I'm sure you'll look at it and then you'll demolish the whole thing afterwards.
Yeah. And then try and not get it on my headphones. All right. Podcast 03030. Rochelle Rodgers, congratulations for your efforts on the weekend.
Thank you.
You just got another first place in the Bridges Fun Run.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
And we were chatting before, so that was a 10K race. So my interpretation was that would have been just like a warm-up race for you, but you said it was really, really hard.
Oh, absolutely. I think a marathon is more of a warm-up race because you've got 42 kilometres to get comfortable, where 10Ks it's just, the gun goes and you go.
What was the turnout like?
I think they had 2,000 competitors and that was like completely sold out. So, yeah, it was a good turnout.
Yeah, actually, I saw that it sold out. Because with a lot of the stuff I do is in the, the strength sport stuff. So, your bodybuilding, CrossFit, powerlifting, that sort of stuff. What's the community like the local running community?
The running community is great. Like everybody's always super supportive of one another and everybody generally will have their training groups where we all train together and we're all striving to do our best, and then come race day, you just head down, bum up. Doesn't matter who you are, what you are, you run, and then at the end, everybody's supportive again, and we always wait for the last competitor to cross the line. So,
do they train? Like you said, they train in groups. Do they train in gyms or at specific at specific facilities, or is it more of like a casual, like there's a running group or something like that?
Yeah, there's lots of different like community running groups. Like there's obviously the group that I train with, and then you'll see lots of other community groups. For example, another one's called Perth Urban Runners. Yep. There'll be other training groups. Perth Running Club is another one. And I run for Front Runner Sports. So there's lots of different clubs, and they'll have a big community within those clubs. So Front Runner Sports, I can go down on a Thursday night and train with my 15 guys, but there might be 70 other people there as well training for their own sort of distance or level of sport. Yep.
I find it fascinating. Any niche that I delve into from an outside point of view, people probably think, oh yeah, there's probably a few people that do this, like, you know, whether it's CrossFit or whatever. But as soon as you delve into the niche, there's like thousands of people. It's always the same structure. There's always personalities, politics. There's always so many things within every niche that you go through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, give us a little bit of an intro about you and your background. So what do you do? What have you achieved?
Okay, well, I've been running since the age of 8. So I grew up doing little athletics, which most kids do. And I finished that when I was about 17 and got into senior athletics and got my first coach. And then since then, I've just continued to run. Started off with the 5,000s and the 10,000s on the track, and then delved into the half marathons and then the marathons later on. So that's kind of my running background. As I've matured, finished high school, gone into my first job, done my diplomas, done my little degrees. I've ended up working in the running scene, so working for Running Warehouse Australia, which is an online business, and we have a retail store. So I've kind of, like giving back to the sport and helping other people achieve their goals as well. How old
were you when you started doing the 5 and 10Ks?
I was probably about 17, 18.
So towards the end or after school?
Yeah, definitely.
Did you kill cross country in school?
I hate cross country.
Oh, really?
I
Isn't
think
it the same thing?
It is so hard. It's completely different. To me, cross country is like orienteering. Like, it's just, you're running through the grass, you're running through the hills. Like, that's just not for me. Like, I just, flat and fast. Like, I love the track, I love the road, I love the footpath, but throw me on a grass oval, I am hopeless.
Now, your sister, Candace Thorpe, I've got to give her a quick shout out because she's well known within the CrossFit space.
Yep.
Was she a runner as a kid too?
Yeah, so she did little athletics as well growing up. We both did, little athletics and tennis were like both of our sports. And unfortunately, I was a bit of a John McEnroe, so I gave up tennis when I was about 15 and continued on with my running.
So you threw tanties?
Oh, absolutely. Got suspended, got thrown off the court. I was horrendous. I was a terrible teenager. Where Candace was really good at tennis, so she continued to do that, and I, continued to run. So
that's so funny. I would really like to see footage of you throwing your racket.
Oh, I think, there was a few rackets thrown, a few balls smashed over the fences, a few walk off the courts.
Do you still do that now running, or are you like a lot more chill?
I find running really therapeutic, but I do hate to lose. So when it comes down to crunch time, if there's somebody there, I do get super competitive and I do get that like real angry, feisty personality back.
Oh, I love it. So someone saw my post last night and asked about the podcast and asked that we were catching up. So I'm not going to disclose who it is. They're not from the running scene, but they knew who you were because they're friends in the running scene. And so you're going to love this because of your competitive nature.
Yep.
So her friend had a nickname called the Roger Dodger because she would not go in races that you were in because she didn't want to lose.
Okay.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Okay. I haven't heard that.
No, I thought it was wicked. So shout out to the Roger Dodger. I'm not sure who they are. Now, you in February, you went to Japan and you won one of the marathons there.
Yep.
So first of all, tell us about that. And just out of my own interest, you didn't just win. You beat all the male athletes as well, didn't you?
I came in the top 30, so I think I placed 24th overall.
Okay, so it was the top out of the female athletes.
Yeah, so I won the female category. Yep.
Okay, awesome. So tell us a little bit about that experience because it looked wicked, and that's a really high end sort of race to win for you as well, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. So the Japanese running scene is phenomenal. Like it's hard to explain unless you go and you see it for yourself. So between December and February, every single weekend they will hold a marathon in different cities. Tokyo being the biggest one of the season. That's one of the big 7 marathons. But Shizuoka is where I went this year. And there was still 15,000 competitors at a local marathon.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so we wouldn't even get that here in our biggest marathon, which is like Melbourne or Gold Coast. Went to Japan with like Shizuoka in mind because my coach had previous athletes who had gone and had run well, and it's a flat course which suits me quite well. And knocked 9 minutes off my previous time. So back in 2017, I did the Tokyo Marathon and I ran my PB then, which was 2:43. And then, 2 years later, go back to Japan and knock another 9 minutes off to 2:34.
How'd you knock 9 minutes off?
I just woke up feeling really confident and fresh and happy with where I was. Like, I went into the race wanting to run 2:39.59. I just wanted to crack 2 hours 40. And whilst I was running, I knew I was running too fast, but every time I slowed down, I felt like I just kept picking it up naturally. So I kind of just went with it. And yeah, I was waiting for that point where my body was going to say no more, like, that's it, you've hit the wall, you're done, but it just never came. And I think the last couple of Ks were at least 15 seconds quicker than what I'd planned to be running to begin with.
So 42 Ks is a long time, is a long distance. For you, it's not an ultra long time. For the average person, it's very long.
Yeah.
What goes through your mind through 42 Ks? Like, what keeps you going? Like, it's a long time when you're in your own thoughts.
Yeah, like I use a lot of, like, I think about a lot of other athletes that have run that distance and like the things that they've gone through in life as well. So my previous coach, John Gilmore, who passed away at 99, like, I take into account like all the hard work that he put into his running, because he was a prisoner of war and he used to run blind, and just how humble he was and how lovely he was and what he did for me with my sport. So I think about what he's achieved, but then I also just think about all the hard work that I've been doing and never ever give up, really. Like, you just can just push your body as far as it can go and just see what happens. So I just like to just grit it out.
Physical versus mental, what's the hardest part for you?
I think, like, towards the back end, if you're physically tired, it's mentally tough.
Yeah.
But if you're physically okay, then, like, I don't think either of them, like, for me, it's quite therapeutic. I really enjoy it. So
with your training, in seeing you run the 21Ks, seeing you run the 42Ks, how much distance will you run in a general training session? Or does that vary depending on what's coming up?
Yeah, it varies. So I will run on average, like, in a 12-week period, 150 to 160 kilometres a week. So that's broken down into different sorts of types of runs, Sunday being our longest run, which is anywhere from 34 to, I think the longest was 38 that I did.
Yep.
But yeah, like, I'll do lots of double days. Some days it might be a single day, but then it's 20 Ks. It just depends what's on my program.
How do you pull up after doing like a Sunday run where you run 38 Ks?
Oh, like, I'm tired and I'm fatigued and I'm sore, but I know, like, when I get up and go for my run the next day, like, even though it's hard, like, it's going to shake out all the shit really that I've just put into my legs. So, I mean, you kind of get used to it. Like, when you're first starting to do marathon trainings and you're not sure about the sport, like, yeah, it's tough. But then once you've done a few and you get into that routine, your body just adjusts and it's just like another run.
I just want to have a quick shout out to Shannon Daley, who's an obstacle course racer. He posted that he was really happy. He's a runner. Yeah. So he's a different kind of runner, obviously. But he was very excited, and he should be, to do a 100K week. And you do 150 and 160.
Yeah.
That's insane. So putting that in perspective, so I've done a lot of work with a personal training company, the education company, Fit College.
Yeah.
And last year we had the True Grit, which is another obstacle course race.
Yeah.
And they had an 11K and they had a 5K. And I know a lot of the students were still freaked out about doing the 5K.
Yeah.
Because that seemed to be such a long distance.
Yeah. And it is a long way.
5K?
Yeah. Like,
really?
For the average runner, like, 5Ks, that's a long way, yeah.
Do you deal with a lot of beginners?
Yeah, so I've got my own, like, coaching group, and like, I deal with beginner runners through to ladies who have been doing it for a few years that do marathons now. And yeah, like, 5Ks in the beginning, like, if you're not a runner and you are more into that gym sort of scene, 5Ks it's a long way. So kudos to anyone that can do 5Ks. Yeah.
I love that. That's a really, really good perspective.
Yeah.
I probably wasn't as nice the way I approached it. So I'm a big fan of getting out of your comfort zone and doing something that it's either not your normal, it's going to be challenging, but it's going to be rewarding at the end. So we know that HBF is coming up, and I'll probably jumping the gun. I didn't ask, but I'm assuming that you're probably going to be an ambassador for them again. Yeah,
they've asked me to just jump on board again, so yep.
Yeah, awesome. So I did my first one 3 years ago. Where I jumped in and I did 12K, and I hadn't run more than 3K, which was probably back in high school.
Yeah.
So for me, like, that was quite an experience.
Yeah.
And then last year I went on and did the 21. I've done a 12-hour race since then. I've done a 21 obstacle course race since then. So what's your advice to these people that 5K, or there'll be a 4K there? What's your advice to getting in and doing it and trying something new?
Oh, like I would absolutely say yes. I mean, until you start training for something, you're not going to know what the process is and how scary it's going to be. But yeah, throw yourself in the deep end, give it a shot, and just be mindful that when you're training for it, that you don't go from doing nothing to 4K straight away. Like build for it slowly, just 10% at a time, and take it easy and take it for what it is, and don't set a goal that isn't achievable. So if you just want to run 4Ks, like that's your goal. You shouldn't have a time in mind. You shouldn't have a pace in mind. Just that finish line and that medal.
Yeah, and I think when you get to the end, there's something like so satisfactory about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling.
And everyone goes through the mental challenges as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, everybody.
So I want to, going back to your training for a little bit, because I want to talk about your training, your nutrition. It's actually fitting that we have anyone who's watching the video, we have a pizza sitting in front of us. Anyone who's not, we have a
pre-race meal right there.
Yeah, so I wanted to chat to you about, which we'll come back later. So talking about your training and prepping up for a race, when you get in for a race, do you go through like a progressive overload stage where you build up a tolerance to the distance you're running, you increase your speeds that you're doing? How do you train coming into a race, and how can someone who's not at your level apply that to themselves?
Yeah, like a general marathon program should be 12 weeks or 3 months. And yeah, obviously your first week is not going to be as many Ks as your 10th week, and your 12th week isn't going to be as many Ks as your first week. So it is very different, and we generally build up nice and slowly. Like we might start with just single days for 2 weeks, and then start building double days for another 2 weeks, and then after those double days throw in a few gym sessions and things like that as well. It's all about just that slow build and that upwards climb, and then obviously tapering back and letting the body recover so that you come race day you're fresh again, because you do wear yourself out quite a lot.
Yeah, how do you handle that on your joints and your knees? Is there any injuries which are common?
That's my favourite question. My knees do not get sore.
They don't?
No, so I mean, generally those sort of injuries come down to your technique. So if you've got poor technique, then obviously other areas of your body are going to fail, and knees should only absorb 20% of the impact when we're running. So if they're getting sore, it's obviously something further up the chain, generally like weak glutes, weak hips, core strength, hamstrings, quads, things like that are going to, make your knees slightly sorer than what they could be.
Do you work with a physio or chiros or anything to stay in check, or massage?
I'm pretty bad on that side of things. Like I haven't had a massage since Japan, and I don't think I had a massage 6 weeks before Japan. I do have a physio that I go and see on a weekly basis if I am sore, Life Ready Physio in Coburn. So I go see Jacob there. He looks after me. But then I've also got a strength and conditioning coach, Kate Lucken. She if I need something after a strength session, she notices I'm a little bit tight somewhere, she might just, do a bit of acupuncture on me and things like that.
And what do you do for strength and conditioning? What are you doing strength and conditioning? And do you, what sort of weights do you train at? What exercises do you do so it doesn't impact your body? So you're not in a muscle broken down recovery stage, because that's obviously going to affect your running.
Yeah. So I would do strength on a Monday, which is a triple training day when I'm in full training. So
triple?
Yep. So get up early in the morning and go for say a 40-minute jog, and then head straight to the gym. So I've already got a little bit of tired and fatigue in my legs, and Kate will generally get me doing say 4 warm-up activation sort of exercises with the bands, might do some bench hip thrusters, walking lunges, things like that, and then the session would be squats, deadlifts, lat pull downs, always calf raises, so that's just non-negotiable. There's always calf raises in my program. Single leg deadlifts, pull-ups, things like that. Mm-hmm. Just general specific exercises that are for endurance-based athletes. So, we'll go easy on the way up and then snap it on the way down, or reverse it depending.
What sort of rep ranges do you work within?
So we'll do generally 3 sets of everything and no more than 10.
Okay.
But then, for example, today, after racing yesterday, I did my general program, but we just did 4 sets of 4. Yep. So I kept it same volume, but lighter amount of reps on the body.
So a lot of the focus comes onto glute strength.
Yep,
as
absolutely.
Well. Why is that, and is that a common issue?
Well, in the back end of a marathon, say when you get to say 32, 34 Ks, that's when we're tired, that's when we're fatiguing. And if we don't have strong glutes or even a strong core, we start to sit down just naturally through our back, and that's when your knee pain will start to occur, because if we're sitting down, then our knees are going to start to knock and we get all those sort of hip rotations. So core and glutes are definitely super important.
Yeah, I found, and that was a selfish question I asked for myself. So I wrung out my patella tendon doing squats, and I've been doing physio on that recently, but even doing a run yesterday, it was about a 7K trail run, is my knees were fine, but my lower back really started, like you can feel the fatigue and your posture's not great.
Yeah.
And you're kind of struggling going up hills and down rocks and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that a common thing that you find in runners? Like that lower back sort of
That
pain?
lower back, yeah. I mean, if you're quite weak through the core of your glutes, like your lower back, even if you go to bed at night time and you're laying down trying to sleep, like your lower back will just, ache. And you kind of know that's when you need to start doing more strength work.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like that's happened to me in the past. Like I've maybe got a little bit lazy with my strength sessions, like been busy and just like miss one or two here or there, and like you go to sleep at night and you're like, oh, my back's a bit sore, like got to get back onto it. So
Now last time we caught up, I think it was before a HBF a couple of years ago, and you gave some nutrition tips.
I think that was like maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was actually.
Like when it was your first HBF.
My first HBF. And you spoke about pizza, which I'll come back to the pizza. Now how do you look at your nutrition? How do you eat? Do you follow a macros plan? Have you ever done a keto diet? All that sort of stuff. We'll start from the start though. So what's the basis of your nutrition? How do you decide what to eat?
Today, not very good. Because I raced yesterday, so I deserve this hedgehog.
Yes.
No, generally, I saw a dietitian because I was eating like volume of food, but I probably wasn't putting in the right sort of energy. So I don't follow like a keto diet. I don't follow like I'm not really too familiar with them because I don't look into them too much. But for me, like every meal that I eat has to have like your proteins, your fats and your carbs. And I will eat like breakfast, snacks, lunch, snacks, dinner, dessert, like all the time.
You're burning a lot of calories, so you can eat volume of food, and you're obviously extremely lean as well. So you don't ever count calories or anything like that?
No, don't count calories. I eat quite naturally. Like when I'm focused on my diet, like I notice, like, because I'm cooking with a lot more whole foods and natural foods, like it just naturally cuts out all of those bad sugars. So in the first couple of weeks when I'm really focused in the start of a new program, like I can get quite tired, but then after 3 weeks my body's adjusted and like I'm back on top of everything, and I feel like better eating healthier than when I'm not.
Yeah, and that's one thing that you know. So do you still eat like gluten and pastas and that sort of stuff?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, pasta's probably a dinner that I'll have like at least 2 or 3 times a week. Sorry, a night. Jeez, imagine that.
That's a lot.
Yeah, no, 2 or 3 times a week I'll have definitely like pasta, and then every Saturday night before a Sunday long run, Hawaiian pizza, which you managed to order today.
Oh, excellent.
Yep. So that's my Sunday long run like meal, and also pre-race meal as well.
Have you ever gone like ultra clean where you cut out that stuff, and do you notice a difference?
Nah, I've always just like tried to generally just eat healthy.
Yes.
And be mindful of what I'm eating and what I'm putting into my body, but I've never really followed anything too strict.
Now, on the keto side of stuff, have you ever done anything like that?
No, never.
So I got a golden question for you then. Do you know any elite or top runner that follows a keto or high fat diet?
No, like Candice, obviously being in the CrossFit scene, she does a few different things here and there.
She follows her macros.
Yeah, and that's probably like the most that I ever hear about it, and it's probably more in that sort of gym CrossFit scene. Like runners, we like finish our Sunday long run and we go straight to that coffee shop for a muffin and a coffee. Like, yeah.
It's so the reason why
it's just really different. Yeah,
the reason why I asked was to put things in perspective. Because there was a lot of information going around a couple of years ago about ultramarathon runners following a high-fat keto diet, and this was the best way. But my experience with top-level athletes is that their supplement programs are usually very basic, along with their nutrition programs.
Yeah.
And a lot of it comes down to the mental game and the physical performance and the training and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the only supplement that I take is I put pea protein in my smoothies at lunchtime.
Yep.
Like, that's it.
Just get that protein.
Yeah, like don't take any other no pre-workouts, no post-workouts, just protein in my shakes at lunchtime.
I love it.
Yep.
So simple. Now, again, like I guess the timing of doing this works out perfect with coming up to the HBF, and so I really wanted people who aren't from the running scene to be able to get some insight from you. So what would be your top advice? Because I think it's coming close. It must be like 4 weeks away.
That'll be like April. It's like the 27th or something of May.
Yeah, it's all right.
Like at least like 6 weeks away.
6 weeks away.
We've got 6 weeks to train.
So we're 6 weeks away. Someone decides, I want to try something new. I want to give this running thing a go.
Yep.
They got 6 weeks to prep up for it.
Yep.
What's your advice for the next 6 weeks?
Don't set yourself a goal that's unachievable. Like, so that's probably the biggest thing that I tell any new runner, or even like somebody who does run a lot and just decides to randomly sign up for something. Like, don't set yourself an unachievable goal, because you're only going to come out of it disappointed. And then also find a program that's going to suit your lifestyle and your needs. So like, if you're a mum of 2 kids, like, you're not going to be able to train 7 days a week. Like, that's just going to be super impossible. So you need to be able to find a program that's going to be manageable around your children and your lifestyle, and even for work, like those that work 5 days a week, 9 to 5, like just fitting in the training when it's like applicable to you without overdoing it as well, because you need to also make sure you're getting the sleep to be able to recover to train. So
yeah,
basic program, like if you're not a runner, like maybe get up, go for a run Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then you're giving your body like that 24, 48 hours recovery in between.
How much is overtraining? Because if that's 3 days a week of doing running, if someone is generally a gym goer and they still want to do that, how much can they run? I guess it depends on the person.
Yeah, I think it depends on the person's like height and their weight as well. Like a heavier person that maybe doesn't run as much shouldn't probably do more than 3 days a week. But say somebody who's maybe a little bit leaner and a little bit more lighter on their toes could probably stretch it out to like maybe 4. But I think like generally like 3 days for a beginner is a good enough like training program to build some fitness over 6 weeks.
How much do you train, just out of curiosity? I don't think you gave us days.
So there's 7 days in the week, so there's 14 opportunities to go for 14 runs, and I will run 11 of those.
Okay, and is that how you look at it, like blocks? So you might double up some days, but some days you might just not run at all?
Yeah, so for example, like Monday is a double run day with the gym session, so that's my triple training day. Tuesdays is a double run day, so morning run, easy, and then track in the afternoon. Wednesday is single run day, but that's like a midweek long run. Thursday, morning run, and then a session in the Arvo. Friday, double run day. Saturday, morning training session, gym, then an easy run, and then Sunday long run.
There you go. Extremely active.
Yeah, don't stop. Like, I don't have much time to do anything else, to be completely honest.
Yeah. Well, you love it.
Yeah, no, it's good. And then, work, obviously, full-time in between that.
Yep. What are you doing for work at the moment?
So I work at Running Warehouse in Myrie as their retail operations manager. Yep.
Yes.
Do some online stuff for them as well.
Wicked. Now, on the flip side of that, and I know that this isn't exactly your field, but it's still within the same instance. So prepping up for a 24-hour race.
Mm-hmm. It's a long way.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
So it's about 100K.
Yep.
For me in 24 hours. So using the same progressive overload principles, so starting off with like 7K runs and building up from there.
Yeah.
What would be your advice running-wise, but also physically preparing for it?
Running-wise, like, you're not going to be wanting to run like the full 24 hours or the full 100Ks before you actually do the event, because that's just going to make it physically impossible for you to do the event when it comes to it. So doing 80% of the training that you need to do to get to that distance is generally like the rule I would look at. So when you're training, obviously, you're not going to be able to run for 20 hours or you're not going to be able to run for 18 hours straight to get that training done. So to break it up into like 2 lots, so maybe go for a 5-hour run in the morning as your Sunday long run, for example, and back it up that same day with maybe like another 2-hour run at night time, and you're going to be able to get your hours in like that. Or I know a few guys in the past that have done like the same sort of races. They'll drop their kids off at school at 8 o'clock in the morning, set off for their run, finish running when they pick up their kids from school in the afternoon, if you've got the time to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like eventually, like, that's where you're probably going to want to get to with your training, but not until like you're at least a month out.
When you say if you do the 100K in 24 hour, you won't be able to do the race, is that physically from a recovery point? Is that more of a mentally, it's actually going to be like pretty hard mentally to do and you won't want to do it
mentally
again?
You're going to know that you're going to be able to do it. It's just physically your body's just going to be tired. Like, obviously you want to train and you want to learn to run on like tired and heavy legs, but there's no possible way of doing 100Ks week in, week out. Yeah. Okay. Your body needs to recover. Your muscles need to relax.
Yeah.
And you're going to need to have those easy runs in with those hard runs as well.
Yeah.
So easy runs, like, they're going to put time on the legs, but they're going to allow the body to recover as well.
So with all this running that you do, what do you do to recover?
For me,
personally,
like recovery is like a 30-minute jog in the mornings. That's just flushing out all the gunk from the legs from the speed sessions the night before.
Okay, so no ice baths.
Nah, like I said, I'm pretty bad with all that sort of stuff.
I love it. Recover from running with more running. Now, if somebody wants to catch up with you, talking about programs and where to get programs from, and I know people just love programs. They don't want to think about it. So where's the best place to get programs from?
So you can like PM me or DM me on my Yes I Can Training Instagram page.
Yes.
So that's the name of my training group.
I didn't know that was yours.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know that was yours. There you go.
Super positive. Yes, I can.
Oh, awesome. I love it.
Just like randomly came up with a name.
Yes.
But Yes, I Can Training on Instagram or DM me like Running Rodgers as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Rochelle, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
No worries.
Good luck in the HBF.
Thank you.
That's a wrap for today's episode. If you like what you heard, we would love it if you head to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review. And remember to keep on tagging us in your Instagram stories. We'd love to see screenshots of you guys listening to the podcast. And as always, stay tuned for more of the Perth Fitness in to come.